Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, it seems the president is meeting the leftist escalation. We're now getting reports that President Trump is supposedly sending the military to help crack down on the lawlessness in California. And of course, the leftoids are losing their mind, yada yada yada, something fascism, something authoritarianism. But obviously, Donald Trump's move to deploy the National Guard, and now potentially also tapping into the Marines, well, it's the only sane response to this complete leftist insanity. Let's have that conversation, but before we do, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by American Hartford Gold. Donald Trump is back in the White House, and America is on track to make the biggest economic revival in history. The economy is likely to surge, investment is pouring in, and confidence is returning. And in times like these, it's important to invest properly, and that, my friends, is where American Hartford Gold steps in. Because as we all know, one of the best ways to protect your wealth is by investing in precious metals, that's gold and silver. And friends, American Hartford Gold is simply the best in the business when it comes to protecting you from economic downturns. They have 5-star ratings across the board with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. In other words, they're a market leader in the space, helping Americans lock in their financial security by diversifying into real tangible assets. And I know that sounds good, but trust me, it gets even better. All you gotta do is give them a call and they'll send physical gold and silver straight to your doorstep, or they can help you add it to your IRA or 401k. Zero hassle, just smart investing. Actually, it gets even better because American Hartford Gold is currently running a special right now where you could get up to $15,000 in free silver on qualifying purchases. So what are you guys waiting for? Sure, things look like they're on the up and up right now, but history tells you it doesn't last forever. The incompetent buffoons will at some point bring on hard times and you gotta protect yourself. And so to get that process started, all you gotta do is call 844-440-1005. That's 844-440-1005, or text Hivemind, that's Hivemind one word, to 65532. Again, text Hivemind to 65532, and they'll get you guys set on the right track. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. Alright, so according to CNN, Donald Trump is sending in the Marines.
Roughly 500 Marines are being mobilized in response to the protests in Los Angeles.
And this is a significant escalation from President Trump, who had activated National Guard troops over the weekend without Governor Gavin Newsom's consent. In this new move, active duty military members are being deployed as a show of force against U.S. citizens.
Well, Brianna, this is something that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had previewed over the weekend. He said that if necessary, he would deploy the Marines to Los Angeles to help federal agents with handling the protests there. And it appears now that these Marines, according to our sources, they have been mobilized. These 500 Marines, a full Marine battalion based out of 29 Palms, California, which is just outside San Bernardino, about an hour away from Los Angeles. They have been mobilized and they are gearing up to go and help ICE agents as well as other federal officials deal with these protests in Los Angeles. Importantly, they're going to be bolstering as well the National Guard, guardsmen and women who have been activated in Los Angeles by President Trump. But as you said, it is a significant escalation of the president's use of the military as a show of force against these protesters. It's really not clear, the last time Marines were deployed to help essentially with riot control, though it's unclear at this point just what their actual tasking will be. Typically, if they are deployed to these situations, it is expected that they will operate in much the same way that the National Guard does, doing things like perimeter security, maybe some crowd control. But the rules of engagement here, we are told, are still being finalized, and Defense Department lawyers are also looking at the kinds of rules of engagement these Marines will have as they encounter protesters possibly on the streets of Los Angeles.
Oh, you can just hear the blue hair, the septum ring, the cushy suburban life, typing away furiously at the keyboard. I'm literally shaking right now. Oh no, quick, call your therapist. The president might actually do something to restore order. Wow, what a fine concept that is. A president who actually acts and doesn't allow complete lawlessness on the streets, like the last doofus president who was sleeping in the basement. It's a good thing. I don't know if it's real. I know the National Guard is going to help, and rightfully so. Whether Marines are being deployed, I don't know, it's just a report so far. However, there is one video of a military copter supposedly flying around LA. People are posting this video claiming it's current, but I've seen no actual evidence to suggest that. Could just be older footage, but either way, I mean, the point stands. Yes, send them. It's justified. It's all justified. This is an emergency. Federal officers are being attacked. They're getting bricked and ambushed. Look what's going on.
So the guy there on the left, the bald guy that is being hit, I don't know if he's an agitator or exactly what happened, but whoever he is, the crowd is not fond of him. And that was the same guy that they were just kind of fighting with earlier. And now, for whatever reason, it's pushed over to this area. And it looks like they've got him pushed up against that kind of guard shack or that parking shack there.
This is complete chaos. It looks like a scene out of Mad Max. Complete mob rule. The president has the duty to see through the will of the American people, and the American people soundly do not support this chaos that we're seeing in LA. Look at this YouGov polling data, which by the way means the numbers are probably even lower. June 9th poll of 4,231 US adults, percentage who approve/disapprove of recent protests in Los Angeles against US Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE actions. Only 36% approve, with 45% disapproving and 19% unsure. Completely fascinating that if you look at the Democrat line, 58% of Democrats support the Antifa onslaught against federal officers. I mean, that data point alone ought to be a video within itself. But basically, outside of the Democrat loony bin, the majority clearly do not support this violence. They want something done. And the president, of course, was elected, again, to see through the will of the people. And what the people want seems to be two things. First off, the initial core tenet of the mandate, Americans voted for Donald Trump's mass deportation program. They want the program that's currently being protested, and they also very clearly want you communist revolutionary wannabe Antifa thugs to get a damn job. That's the democratic will of the people, and the democratically elected president is trying to do good on that promise. But then, of course, here comes the radical leftist activists holding everybody hostage because this is what they do. They love to lecture everybody on democracy. Oh, democracy, intolerance, diversity. But then, of course, look at them now, standing in the way of legitimate democracy. The democratic will of the people is for you leftist fascists to start acting like civilized human beings and stop LARPing like it's South America in the 1970s and your guerrilla communist revolutionaries. Just enjoy your American privilege and be a normal, productive human being. What is so difficult? And honestly, if you're going to engage in this LARP, if you're going to act, then at least play a convincing role. But the left isn't, because they tell you that Donald Trump is a tyrant before he even does something. I mean, at least we can agree that this is an emergency. The justification for sending in the National Guard and some extra military help is very clear, and if it was Joe Biden or Barack Obama doing it, every leftist would agree. So let's at least start there. Implicating the military is justified. Where there could be issues is if the Trump administration is ordering the military to engage in illegal or unconstitutional acts. That's where you'd have an issue. That's where you're crossing a line. But we're not anywhere close to that. And obviously what's likely to happen is the military is going to provide aid. They're going to arrest people who are doing illegal things. And then eventually things are going to calm down. And that's where you pinpoint the Democrat dishonesty, because they take the mere act of Donald Trump deploying the military as fascistic baseline. In other words, he's a fascist no matter what he does. Oh, and actually earlier I said that it wasn't confirmed that we were just getting reports. Well, now it's confirmed. As I'm recording this video, we get a press release here, a statement on additional military personnel in Los Angeles. Approximately 700 Marines with 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division will seamlessly integrate with the Title 10 forces to undertake Task Force 51, who are protecting federal personnel and federal property in the greater Los Angeles area. So yeah, there you go. Basically exactly like I said it. They're deploying Marine forces simply to help with personnel so they can protect the federal officers and federal property that's currently under attack by the lunatic leftist mob in California. Seems pretty basic, seems pretty measured, seems appropriate, but the left, of course, is crying fascism. Nope, not fascism, definitely not fascism, but quite potentially democracy, democratic will. The people have decided to elect Donald Trump so he can whip California into shape. I guess that's basically the TLDR if you think about it. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.